almost ashamed to ruin such a pretty face. Being strong is for the blue and gold! Kill them where they stand! Kill all the nations! Lay them all for the cross! Lie, cut them down! Leave no one alone! So Lord, the Lord, and for the blue and gold! Kill them where they
Street lights, bulbs, and hazy gold. Hear ye, gather round. The battle's here on consecrated ground. Red and blue, a nightly clash. Steel on steel, a blinding hand. Raise your voice, sing it loud, for the brave and for the proud. Friday night fights. Friday night fights. Blue or red, who cares tonight? Friday night fights. Swords are swinging, shields are broke. Every night takes every stroke. For glory, honor, for the land. Fighting side by side, hand in hand. Raise your voice, sing it loud.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
For the pride. Friday night fights. Friday night fights. Blue or red, who cares tonight? Friday night fights.
Welcome, everybody. Mr. Green, welcome in. Welcome to a Thursday night edition of Friday Night Fights, one of the most exciting, action-packed events in Chivalry 2. Meowie J Smokes in the chat has her curry ready, LFG. Everyone should be getting their snacks, their drinks, their vice of choice. Tonight we have a middleweight bout. I'm going to call it middleweight because it is going to be 20v20, unlike some of the heavyweight 25v25 matches in the past. A selective strategy by CK, perhaps. I tried to get a pregame quote from Immense, captain of CK. He declined comment. My suspicion is, given the last battle with Plumville, where the numbers were lower, Plumville does seem to be just seem to prefer to fight at that middleweight level, you know, that 20v20. So perhaps, given how handily Plumville won against CK last time at that 20v20, perhaps they want to get a little bit of practice against EQ, perhaps to run it back against Plumville in the near future. Just my guess. I don't know. I tried to get the official story, but Immense deciding to keep the strategy quiet. So we're going to get going here in a little bit. We're going to take a look at the scoreboard. We have plenty of the usual names from both sides. You can take a look at all of the level thousands in the lobby. By this time, you know, level 1000 may not be what it used to be. A lot of people say, you know, level means nothing. But I can guarantee you all the players here, whether they're level 1000 or something else, perhaps they're on a second account, perhaps they're new to the game, but if they're on one of these two teams, you can bet that they have some skill in this game. So regardless of the number, I think we're going to see some high skill fights. We're going to see some team battles. I believe tonight the maps are going to be Foulmire and Gallencourt, if I'm not mistaken. So we've seen Foulmire recently. We haven't seen Gallencourt in a minute. 20v20, I do think, is doable for both of those. We're going to have to see which side has the true advantage. We're going to see here now as people get started. I don't know if they're going to want to do a lineup. I believe we're pretty close to being full. So we're going to see here in a minute. We'll cycle through. I don't know if we're going to have time to do a official lineup. But looks like Equilibrium, Ryan and 17, some of the oldest frenemies in the game. Doing battle. Good to see them, regardless of what team they're on. Still comfortable enough for the pregame duel. Ryan getting the edge over 17. Sauce Codes looking to shower both teams with the powerful message of music and peace. Oh, I take back the peace park as he throws the harp at whoever that guy's head was. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay, so perhaps that harp is dual intended. The Baby Mammoth. I don't know who this is, but I'm sure that's a different name and there's some lore behind it. But people got to tell me here. You got to tell me if you got some lore, okay? Need more lore from both these teams. There's UFO Olympia warming up against Sheen, who I believe is going to be the designated engineer for Equilibrium this evening. They do like to come up with a couple squads. They do Equilibrium known for running a multi-squad layout, but they opt to have different ways they deploy their engineers. So I think with 20v20, you're probably going to see maybe one or two max, depending on the situation. CK Michael back in action. Alaric the Arcane, who I believe is a archer specialist, perhaps, amongst other things, back in effect today. Jambo, I don't know Jambo, but, you know, just seems to be in awe, just thankful to be here. I understand Jambo, I'm thankful to be here as well. Sanctus DSY, I don't know who that is either. I don't know who these people are. But we'll see what kind of performance that person puts on. Nildane back in action. Nildane, a heavy hitter. I don't know that Nildane has been in the last couple matches for CK, so good to see him back. The legendary Peon. He uses all weapons. Nobody knows if he's human. He is the leader of the Femboy Nation in Chivalry. And you can see he just, even when he's trolling, he's one of the top players in the game. So using the glaive, he looks pretty sharp in this sort of medieval guard. I don't know. He looks pretty cool. I think that is the helmets that several of the Man-at-Arms chads like to wear. I think Sutter Dave liked to wear this helmet as well with the beard. So Perhaps a small tribute to Dave by Peon. Daniel rocking the stash. You can check out his OnlyFans page. You DM him directly. I'm sure he'll be happy to have more subscribers. But if you like mustache pics and feet pics, he's your guy. Balrog, perhaps Balrog. I think we've seen Balrog recently. Look, rocking the engineer now. He might be one of the engineers CK has been using. CK seems to have quite a different lineup when it comes to engineers, but they all seem to be really effective. CK Revenge looking like really happy to have found his way to the top of this building. Saying hello to the fans. Hello, Revenge. I don't know who you are, but welcome in. Shark back in action. I think a more recent member, but another level 1000 nonetheless. Sheets has really made some plays over the last few games for CK. Rocking that very stylish helmet. I see a lot of people with that helmet. This might be the new look for the fall season 2026. Rude helm fashion. What is going on there? I don't know, but they seem to be enjoying it. Sir Bonk Bonk in his pre-warm-up lavender. Oh my god, Bonk Bonk. Okay. Even in death, the man's got moves. Tybalt, a newly joined member to Equilibrium. Tybalt has been a member of the community for quite a while. I run into him. I believe he stopped by the stream even, so nice to see a familiar name joining the ranks of these titans. So we'll see how Tybalt does. I believe this is probably his first competitive game with Equilibrium if he's in the lineup. Back to their shape-shifting cow, looking like he's doing his pregame meditation. What do cows think about, you think, when they're resting? Grass? A bull? Who knows? Back to Michael. Let's see here. Alright, let's put a different song in here. Alright, so I'm gonna, looks like we might just be about started here. See if we can't get a look at any of the other starters. CK Stompin', another either alias or new member, don't know. See Mildane, Balrog, Shark. Okay, Four Eyes, Nerd Virgin in his staple hats. I mean, the guy can't see without this helmet. It's got custom lenses built in to the helmet. It's why he's so accurate with all his throws. So, don't know if he's planning on throwing that lance, but I'm sure it would hit if he did. But good to see Four Eyes in the field. Definitely a strong warrior for Equilibrium. M-effing Tiny Rick! Tiny Rick! I mean, who doesn't like Tiny Rick? Ryan Zimbabwe, another newer member. I think he just likes the name Zimbabwe because it sounds cool. So that's the lore. Sun God looking like a little bloody. Oh God! But his stylish, classic yellow. I believe it's sun themed. So I think we expect that from him. So good that he's pushing his brand. NJ tonight, another strong contender for CK. That's right, Thursday night tussies. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is really going on today. I believe because League Wars, which is entering its final week, is if what I'm reading is right, was supposed to be tomorrow, but I believe it has now been postponed until October 3rd. So. It was already scheduled. Figured I had an opening on my calendar, and excited. We haven't seen one of these in a little over a week, I think. So it's gonna be exciting. So we're gonna see the ceremonial pregame joust. Although it does look like horses are having a little bit of trouble getting in the correct positions. Let's see here. All right, what are they doing? I thought we were about to see. Oh, okay. Now that looks like they're doing some synchronized galloping. See if we can get back over there. No, we apparently cannot get back over. Oh, here we go. All right, all right. Thought we were having some sort of equestrian moment here, but now I don't know. Oh, wow, whoa, my God, that was close. That was almost a sabotage. Alaric contemplating life as he was almost speared by Four Eyes Nerd Virgin in the pregame warm-up. But I guess he's holding very still. I guess that's the tactic in the wild, when you're avoiding a predator. Clutched my pearls. All right, so I don't know what's happening. I think they're waiting for something, so I'm gonna get a final look. Man, he is committed to the bit. This guy, I love it. He's ready. He's ready. All right, Cal taking it out on the stripper pole in the tent. Okay, understand. Godfather in the house. Looks like he's fresh from the monastery. I believe he completed an order. I believe it was an order of celibacy and silence. So I'm sure he's extremely horny and wants to get very loud here. So we'll see if he's able. What is going on over here? Look at these guys. Look at this guys. What is happening here? It's like an epic action shot. It's like, you thinking what I'm thinking? Yup. Jump. Oh shit, he actually got out of it. That was pretty good. Only they lived. Alright, so Sheen with the victory. I believe we are now going to get started here. We will thank you, AI band. Those are the Velveteen Crackers. That is my artificial intelligence warm-up band. Thank you for all those great Fight Night hits. Zamboni, do we have a pregame sponsor? It's time. Round one, we're going to see here. Looks like we are starting in Gallon Court. We're going to see here. It looks like CK will be on attack first. So these guys need to know I am not one of the members. Yes, thank you. 2120, perfect. So as soon as they let me spawn in here, I guess I should just go to spectate now, but it's going to mess up everything. All right, so this should make it more obvious who needs to get in the game. So it looks like we are figuring out the teams. I think we're figuring out the teams. All right, so it looks like CK may still be deciding who their last member is. I'm not sure what's happening here. But immediately we're going to see Ryan and the rest of the EQ defense immediately
action is brought to you by
dropping
Argon's
back
List.
to protect
Need
the
a fence
open.
painted? Or a cow milked? Argon's List makes finding help a breeze.
Thank you. Argon's List, yes. Now available online. So, immediately, it looks like Equilibrium drops back. I don't know why these doors aren't closing, though. The doors stay open. Oh, there we go. Eventually, they do shut, leaving some of the CK attackers trapped on the wrong side of history. You can see the remaining CK members trying to bust in and support their members that were cut off. A little bit of a trap by the Agathans, I guess. Agathians on that wall, but now it is open. We're going to see the main defense for Equilibrium continues to be on this right side from the attacker perspective. Does look like we do have a CK push now on the left, though. With these 20v20 numbers, it's going to really require the defense to mobilize and rotate on defense if they want to hold. But immediately you can see, just as per usual, CK using a lot of those very large long-range weapons. I see a couple of Executioner Axe. You see pole weapons. I see a War Axe. You know, maybe some Messers. GK might be the only one rocking a one-hander right now. So that is a tactic we've seen by CK to use a lot of those very long two-handed weapons. There are some rules around the number of pole arms and spears, but that typically only includes one-handed and two-handed spear, the halberd, and the pole hammer. So everything else can sort of be utilized with as many weapons as the team prefers, but things like Executioner Axe and Executioner Sword, what do we call it, Highlander Sword, all these weapons have quite a bit of range. So you can see CK, after they were able to get kind of a foothold on this left side, have been able to secure a large portion of the banner. But Equilibrium doing a nice job rotating, keeping the numbers in their favor, and you can see that bar slowly kind of changing back and forth. Now, just as I speak, a large catapult takes out some of the Equilibrium defenders. You can see now the flag in the red and black of Mason. Mason's in firm control of this objective. You can see now we are on to phase 2. Nice job by Equilibrium, but just good job by CK. Better job, really, to kind of hold that left side. They were never fully wiped after that first, after they were able to take hold of it. Even though the point kind of did hold for a minute as Equilibrium got numbers, there was never really any danger of stopping the CK offensive. So we can see here now, Equilibrium again choosing to drop back to the first ship. Nice little group run. They're going to go to the middle. This is going to create a little bit of confusion. Are they going to the back ship? Are they going to go to the front? Nice job by Four Eyes using the trap. Maybe delay it. It does look like CK opting for a second ship push. What is this one? Do they have names? I know they have names, but they should have them on there. Anyway, whatever this ship is, nice job by Equilibrium, though. You can see they're rotating, trying to capture majority of the attackers in this galley. It does look like that may have been... I don't know, actually. Maybe was it a feint? I'm not even sure. Looks like maybe Equilibrium picked up that push, but there could have been a feint there that even fooled me, because if you now look at the first ship, there's quite a few CK members that have now sort of secured the bomb. Equilibrium, though, now being able to push. We have Daniel, I believe, with the nice defuse. So back to square zero. Equilibrium, this is the same thing as phase 1. You're going to need good rotation between the ships. Nice job by CK to get that distraction. So at least the first ship now has been lit once that fuse. So, each time the fuse is lit, it's shorter, as you might imagine. That is what really happened. The fuse being shorter will mean that it won't take quite as long for those barrels to blow if CK can light them again. So we're going to continue to follow the action. It looks like CK now looking for a way to get past the CQ death ball. I'm sorry, the EQ death ball. The action seems to be alternating between pushing from the front of this ship and then the sides. Oops, sorry. So it does look as though something's been lit. I think it's the first ship. Here we go. So it looks like the first ship has been lit. There are some Equilibrium defenders again. Ryan and maybe a couple others actually able to defuse, and you can see they now push out from the bomb, trying to create, you can see UFO with that Warhammer. Not sure who that is, was just struck down the baby mammoth, I guess. Trying to create a line here at the ramps, trying to keep the attackers away from the bomb. It's been lit twice now, I believe. So, again, that fuse is getting shorter. Nice firebomb, though, by CK to soften up that defense. You can see as they're rotating back, Godfather rotates back into the fire. That fire creating a little bit of space. Nice throw. Looks like a fire of EQ's own. Could have been a little bit more damaging. I think it was a decent throw. Unfortunately, most of the CK members able to avoid it. Now defending that banner. Looks like you're going to have Michael. Yep, Michael defending. So very short fuse as CK able to light it a third time. Did not have to defend it very long. So now with 4 minutes left, we're moving back to the second ship, and we're going to see what kind of defense can Equilibrium mount. But CK really cruising. Plenty of time here as they are halfway through this objective. Nerd Virgin taking a look, trying to wait for someone to come up that gangplank. Ryan patrolling the poop deck of the ship. Now here we go. Here comes a big push by CK up the ramps. You can see guys like 17 backing up the main push with that two-handed spear. Who else is there? Jambo, I guess, with a two-handed spear. That could be a halberd. It's kind of hard to tell, depending on the skin. So, nice pickup by Equilibrium to sort of slow the advance on the ramp. Lots of damage to both sides. The defenders now, some of them falling. But nice fire. Looks like maybe that was by Ryan to kind of slow up the advance that was through the galley. So CK now groups up one more time with just under 3 minutes. They're going to try to, looks like, push up the ramp side. Going to follow Balrog as he is part of the second line of attack. Rocking that Highland sword. It's like he is pushing that right side. What a defense by Zimbabwe. Knocks him into the water. I have fallen in that water so many times that in my stream we call that pulling a velvet. But that's okay. It's okay to pull a velvet. But he will freshen himself up and be back in the fight here shortly. Equilibrium really buzzing around like a hive of bees, defending the queen that is this bomb site, this objective. So nice push though. CK looking like they're able to have secured, maybe some of them have moved up to that second. NJ, oh, but look, here comes Banker and Steppo fighting side by side, the Gatehouse captains. When they start doing that jumping with the two-handed spear together, it's very hard when they're fighting with a third person to avoid really getting, well, I believe they call it getting do-rags, but that might just be, that might be a deep cut of lore. So. But nice job by Equilibrium. I do believe CK managed to light the fuse one more time, but immediately diffused by Equilibrium. It's going to be a critical minute here. I do think it's possible. We're going to follow Sun God as he follows the CK attack into the area just by the bomb site. So you can see Sun God pushing really, really deep into the defense, creating some space. CK able to light it. I was going to say, even though there was a minute left, this is usually the time, I think, where you see, given the spawns, you know, the attack does get a little bit of a break from the game. Nice fire by both sides, making it difficult, I think, for Equilibrium to get someone on the defuse, in the diffuse area. So very, very nice job. UFO doing what he can, ends up getting sort of taken apart by CK. So that was a really nice push. I was going to say, even though there was a minute left, when we were following Sun God in, you could see there was quite a bit of momentum to that CK attack. Really, once they pushed past that kind of main deck area, it really exposed the bomb site. But yeah, Girthworthy, I agree, it was a good defend. Took a lot of time off of the clock, so CK really is going to have to try to get these bombs planted quickly. You don't want the defense to be able to really get position. It looked like they were starting out with a bit of a broad approach, although it looks like now the pillars are being thrown primarily on the left side. I think we saw that the last time. Maybe we did see this against Plumville. I can't remember. But you're seeing now that what they're doing is trying to push the right side. You do have a couple of petards, but the main petard push on the left side, and you have the sort of supporting front line, trying to make sure that the defenders can't flank around the people pushing the barrels. So you have a few people like Omek just really spamming those barrels. They are unblockable. I think you might be able to counter them, but that's easier said than done. So you're gonna see how far can this push get up. They're actually doing a really good job. Walls essentially were put up around mid-bridge, but it does look like they're down. I don't know that Sheen is able to refresh his walls. There's no ammo crate on the bridge. So at this point, EQ gonna have to do it with bodies. So you can see a really well-timed reinforcement, but we do have, it looks like, I don't know who that was. It was someone who managed to get some of these barrels. That's the thing. The effectiveness of the throw is you don't have to immediately carry it, but now they're here, all you need is one CK attacker to slip in and very quickly grab this last barrel. So you can see Equilibrium thinking the same thing, immediately focusing on anyone in the area of these petards. So plenty of time left, but only one explosive barrel needs to get planted. So nice job. You can see all, I believe that's Typer probably, Zimbabwe, Sheen. So nice attempt. I don't know who that was, but they looked like they may have planted it right on the edge of the zone. Typer going to go out in style without a death. The death that isn't a death by Typer. So once again now CK getting the job done on the first half of these gates. Looks like they're going to immediately employ a similar strategy, picking up several petards. Looks like they're going to throw them on the left side. So Equilibrium just throwing bodies on this ramp, trying to slow down the advance, which you can see a lot of the CK members still rocking those really powerful two-handed weapons. They managed to push past the pile of petards. Say that again. They pushed past the pile of petards. They pushed past the pile of petards. And managed to create a little bit of room now for, looks like Ratman. Like he was slowly trying to get these petards in scoring position. EQ, though, doing a good job. You can see as their reinforcements coming in, they're kind of this in broad umbrella formation, trying to capture anyone sneaking by. Moran does a good job kind of getting that defender into the main area. Nice job. So even though CK sending some people on the flanks, Equilibrium, they might be spending a lot of people Yeah, this is a hard one, but still there's plenty of time, and I think all it takes is one wipe of the defense for CK to do it. But Equilibrium looking good. I think right now this kind of spread out defense is casting kind of this wide net, and you can see the farthest petard that CK still has in play here is right at the top of the ramp. So nice job. Looks like Equilibrium also using those large two-handed weapons. Looks like they might have to make sure they can match the range. Nice push here on the left side. GK picking up the petard. Looks like a couple petards. They're going to sneak through. GK trying to drop down. Two petards are now in scoring position, but Equilibrium doing a nice job picking up the initial push. Now we're going to see, though, since they have to be more aware of what's going on closer to the gate, you're going to see now up go the walls, the barriers closer to the gate. This is really a prime time for someone to sneak by. I've seen it plenty of times in the chaos of battle. It's very easy for someone to sneak through. However, Sheen keeping an eye on those petards. It looks like one of them may have despawned. So here comes another petard. Nice run by Shark. It is picked up, though. You can see now CK trying to sneak people around. It does look like that second petard has despawned. So with 20 seconds, Girthworthy may have called it. We're going to see, here comes one last heroic effort. One explosive barrel planted. Nice run using that right side staircase. With 5 seconds left, though, I do not believe CK is going to be able to get barrels 2 and 3. So very nice defense by Equilibrium. I thought it was a solid strategy. I think maybe at around the 2-minute mark, when you started to see a little bit less of a petard flow, I think, they might have considered doing the same strategy that they did in the first part. I think once they lost the petards, I think, even any momentum they got, CK, as they pushed beyond the top of the ramp was sort of lost, or he couldn't be taken advantage of because there were not enough petards capable of being placed in scoring position. So not a bad job by both teams. Equilibrium, though, stepping up, shutting down the attack on the second gate of the, I guess the Gallon Court itself. I don't really know. So nice job. That is, I would say, one of the two areas that is maybe easiest. I don't know. Gallon Court has a lot of opportunity for defense to win. I would say the ships tends to be one. I say that gatehouse and then the door. But all the other phases probably tend to favor the attack. So we're going to see here now what kind of success can... Okay, good. Can Equilibrium have, or can CK recreate the defensive performance that they've had in the past and stop EQ on attack? So refresh your beverages. We will get... Yeah, I agree with you, Girthworthy. I do think that second gate, it can be like what you call it, the universal hold point. I'd say in pubs, if you can get an organized group of people, especially... I think what was impressive about that is there weren't too many barriers. I think in pubs you see a lot of engineers make the difference, but I thought Equilibrium did a good job keeping their reinforcements in position, staying alive long enough to essentially be able to kind of capture any of the CK attackers trying to sneak petards through. So well done. So on to round 2. Round 2 has begun. You can see immediately we have Equilibrium looking like they're using these ramps. They're going to... Looks like they're going to wait this time for the door to close. I don't know I'm not sure. Are they actually? No! Dude, that's so funny. That makes me laugh every time when they get caught in there. So, I don't know. Again, the trap is sprung. I think you typically don't see that in pubs because you don't see like a dedicated rush to make it into this building before the siege ramps are in play. But you can see there is a window that where those doors are open, which is why the defense chooses to kind of send all their people back there. I thought for a second Equilibrium was going to do the smart thing and just sort of wait and then have this big army that busted through. But I guess it was too tempting for a couple of people there to sneak through. So I understand. I'm sure I've done the same thing. So now, similar to what we saw when CK was attacking, you can see Equilibrium now, after getting denied at that initial push on the right side, you know, they looks like they followed up with an attack on the left fortification. I did see some reinforcements from CK heading to the other side. I don't know if they realized. No, okay, it does look, though, like CK has now taken control of this side, so nice job. I thought that maybe they were going to split their forces too thin, but it looked like a few kind of pivoted back. Now here's another push by Equilibrium. Now we have a catapult in effect. Sauce Codes taking out Ratman. Right now, though, it looks like... Oh, wow, what another shot by Sauce Codes. Looks like... I wonder if that was coordinated, because majority of the Equilibrium warriors in this left side, and that shot by Sauce Codes was directly on flag. So I'm going to see now. We'll see if Equilibrium does look like they can take advantage of that space. Now fighting, I believe the staircase or these steps tend to be maybe right here is actually where it turns into the objective. So you can see Equilibrium fighting on the edge of the objective, preventing CK from getting enough warriors on the point. So a nice battle here, but it looks like CK may be just sort of content to concede this point. Maybe going to try and slow down the Equilibrium horde a little bit while they fall back to the ships. Four Eyes throwing whatever he can throw. He's just throwing stuff. The Noble. Who's this? MJ Holy Armor, who is their own person. So apparently a 40s player who dominates the 40 server scene. So 40 player server scene. So manages to make it back to the ship projectiled. Now Equilibrium, though, the majority of the attack going up the planks, heading to the front of the first ship. You see Holy Armor and a few others trying to slow down the advance.
Sauce making him run all those miles to grab boulders.
Well, he's in shape and he's in play today. So Typer, of course, one of the legends. He's technically the second person in this game to hit level 1000, but he'll quickly remind you that he did it in less hours than Pizza Steve. So he is the quickest level 1000 player in terms of hours. So good to see him still in action at this high level of play. Godfather pushing in. Nice job by CK to kind of form this sort of blender here of these large... Who is this person? Sanctus? That person? Whoever that person is sitting there, he's doing some work with that Executioner axe. Really doing a great job. I think he was struck down there, but, you know, I couldn't figure out who that was, but he was definitely leading the defense, and I think has... You know, that group of CK defenders, I think, really bought time now. You can see the EQ attack now pausing momentarily on this second level of the front of the ship. CK now really doubling down on the barriers. You can see quite an interesting formation. Ratman back in play, one of the heroes of CK in past events. So nice formation to protect that barrier. I'm sorry, that banner. It's actually a really sophisticated set of banners there, or barriers there. I like it. But not enough CK members here on this front side. Plenty of space here for Equilibrium to kind of control. This game ultimately is about space. You know, can you control a certain area, which allows you then easier access to the objective? So I think right now Equilibrium doing a good job so far on this map, controlling the areas of the map that they want to in order to accomplish the objective. So I believe this is going to blow up shortly. Yep, we are on to the second ship. I'm going to have to ask the producers of the show to really get me some notes to... I'm going to start understanding who is what ship, which is what ship. But they really should have names. That's all I'm saying. They should have names. So on we are to the second ship. Immediately, you can see Daniel trying to get a sneaky defuse, or fuse, whatever you call it, lighting of the fuse. Larcer really with that one-handed...
Watching him through spectating match.
yeah, Peon is he's playing 4D chess, so who knows? But yes, I'm not surprised. We have not yet stumbled on Peon shenanigans though. So here we go. The Pancake trying to get this fuse lit. So far, Larcer and whoever the other person was doing a good job. Now looks like it's Michael doing a good job kind of keeping the people trying to light the fuse, interrupting them before they're able to successfully do it. So I don't think this fuse has been lit yet on the second ship. So here we go. Nice defense, though. I will say CK doing a good job kind of holding the line. I think even if they're not able to score some kills, what that's actually doing is giving their respawn, their reinforcements time to get to the fight and actually have an impact. So you can see that's exactly what's happened there. As another wave, nice spear battle between... I don't know who that was. It's like both spears, though, feeling the pain now. It does look like though Equilibrium manages to sneak through. Balrog almost with the sneaky defuse. He's seen at the last minute and sort of struck down, buying enough time for that fuse to finish lighting. So Equilibrium in firm control. We're going to see now. Can CK hold on the gate? You know, as Girthworthy said, you know, this is essentially, you know, the ultimate, the universal hold point is what he said, actually. So we're going to see here what kind of strategy does EQ bring out for the Petards. Looks like right now there's only a couple, maybe going up right up the middle. Looks like maybe the squad or group designated to throw the Petards now sort of catching up. Not quite as many as we saw when this was more of a heavyweight bout, but with these numbers looking like maybe about 20%, 25% of their squad focusing on Petards. Looks like there's two main pushes. Wow, nice job. Even though the fire was in place to protect that side, you saw a couple of the EQ carriers managing to just run through, taking the damage. The damage won't make you drop the explosives. So nice job by Equilibrium to find a hole in that defense. So right now, CK looking a little bit lost on defense. I thought that, you know, thought they were putting together a good hold in the ships, but I think that might have been a momentary lapse of attention there. So here we are, though. A nice battle between Recycled and Moran. He's backed up by Typer. Typer bringing down that big maul on the head of that knight, doing that double damage, and that is too devastating. What is it, 150%? I don't know, extra damage, whatever it is. So here we are back. Nice push now. You can see there's a few, it looks like there's a main push by Equilibrium. Nice Sheen trying to sneak through, almost did it. Good job by MJ Holy Armor to kind of make him drop the petard. But now you can see with 3 minutes, Equilibrium has about 5 petards that are very close to scoring position. CQ, though, I'm sorry, God, these names. CK doing a good job, though. You can see pushing back against that Equilibrium push. Equilibrium looking like they were trying to hold that right side to create some space for the carriers. But CK, you can see Sanctus. This other guy doing a good job. Who that is? Alaric. Looking like he's rocking. I don't know what that is. Maybe the halberd. A nice job. Loses his weapon, but pulls out that one-handed sword. Able to take down someone, but now it looks like Equilibrium. Unfortunately for them, their petards have despawned. Here comes a second wave, though. They only need 3. GK trying 17, looking like they're trying to slow down the carriers. Although it does look like the defensive reinforcements, once Equilibrium wiped that that force there in the middle, if CK could not get back before those petards, I mean, you can see what happened. So CK may not have known that they had maybe a little bit of time, but we are on to the relics phase.
Walked up like they owned the Palsy.
Yeah, I'll say that. You know, so far Equilibrium definitely looking like they're able to impose their will. The objective players playing it smart. You didn't see like an overcommitment to petards, but you know, you saw just enough, honestly, because even as those 5 despawn, you had the 3 or 4 coming in. Ultimately, that's all you need. So good job by the objective squad of Equilibrium. I believe they're called the Beavers because, you know, why not? These beavers are cool. So Equilibrium moving on, clearing out these left side of relics. CK reinforcement wave looking like they're going to maybe push them back. Although even with the ones under the gazebo, where there's one left, we're going to see this roof collapse here in a second as this last statue is, what is that, Atlas? I don't know. Who holds something like this? It's probably tired. So here we go. The religious icons, I guess, of these statues brought down by the Masons. They are offended by
At last holds the weight
these
of his back as
people.
punishment.
I guess these people
Atlas.
maybe did horrible things to them in the past. I don't know, but here we go. Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah, as punishment. So anyway, Atlas has fallen, as they say, and now we're gonna see. This is gonna be CK's best chance, I think, to slow down the Equilibrium attack. Although it doesn't look like, I don't know what's happening right now. CK definitely on their kind of back feet here, as the church door pretty much falls without a fight. So I'm wondering, is there another strategy at play here? Are they going to go all monks? I mean, I'm not actually really sure. But right now, Equilibrium is just rolling on offense. So we're going to see if CK can slow it down. Looking like they are getting rid of all the traps. We do have, it's looking like maybe a couple, 2, 3, handful of monks. Already, though, looking like some of the EQ members managing to make it to Phaedrad's tomb, doing a little bit of damage, but starting that bar moving. See Daniel here in the midst of the attack, coming from the left side door, looking like he's falling back. Wants to make use of that fire pot. Nice throw. Doesn't seem, well, you know, it was a good idea. It looked like there were people there. Didn't do any damage, but also didn't hurt any teammates. So, fortunately, he has to fall back there as NJ 17 and GK as a monk fall on him and force him back. CK now able, looks like they might have gotten their their feet under a little bit. You do have a nice set of barriers, looking like a couple of engineers at play here. Equilibrium seems to be content kind of sending people on this like left side. Don't have too many people up top from what I can tell. Looks like they're going to try to see if they can't catch any of these monks out of position. GK falling back. Looks like he's going to maybe refresh his health. Monks are probably, you know, I don't know the stats, but in my mind they feel like some of the weakest, you know, special characters. So you don't want to take too many hits, but the fact that it can't be interrupted is an advantage. So let's see, looks like Typer looking like he's moving into support. Oh, that's unfortunately struck down there. Nice job. CK looking like they're really anticipating, you know, a main push from here. So doing a good job like keeping the fight down in this lower area. So CK now manages to really control this space. Nice job. That fire pot, not really that effective. So good job. Okay, one of the barriers starts to fall. You can see immediately the engineers are on the scene, repairing the wall.
Peon was actively blocking off their spawn just now, lol.
Yeah, we might have to get like a peon cam. Peon cam. You guys want me to peon cam? Balrog with that Highland sword trying to defend. Here comes Step Chatty on the left side. Looks like him and Daniel trying to take out the left side of the barrier wall. Maybe they want to create a little bit of an avenue. Yeah, it does look like all of a sudden the dam bursts. I don't know what just happened. Maybe it was some peon shenanigans. But all of a sudden, the CK defenders are nowhere to be found. And Phaedron's tomb has fallen. You can see there's one attacker seems a little bit sorry, but not sorry. So, nice job by EQ. They are up 2-0 after Galencourt. Get your drinks refreshed. Get your snacks refreshed. Go to the potty. We're about to start round 3.
Escape from Falmouth.
So, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Girthworthy, if you haven't checked out Stride of the Champ's newest YouTube video, he's done a funny, as always, intro and a nice shot of an unyielding event where Girthworthy himself was the champ. And after some bad advice from Strida to do laps in the unyielding lobby, Girthworthy was banned without a second thought. And it's caused waves in the Chivalry 2 community. People hashtag Girthworthy trending on X. Free Girthworthy. We have to free that Girth. Get him unbanned. It was all in good fun. I was on defense on that team. Getting lapped always sucks, but you just got to take it. No bans required. But anyway, on to 3 here, round 3. Oops, hold on. I did not mess that up. Oops, shit. Sorry about that. Let me get out of the way here. And so it looks like on attack is going to be CK on attack. So, oops, excuse my language here, Leo. Not let YouTube auto run because it'll play some jams. All right, so looks like Equilibrium immediately dropping back to the final card, but you can see already CK manages to solve the puzzle of the walls, and very quick work. You know, I mean, that is about as quick as you can take the first phase of Foulmire. So it looks like CK might have received a halftime pep talk by Immense and immediately have upped their game in round 3. So nice job by CK to free those peasants, and they are going to move on to the gate. So this has been an area where, as we've watched CK in the past, they usually like have something kind of interesting up their sleeve with how they approach this objective. There's typically 3 ways. You have the 2 bridges, and then you have the tree bridge in the middle. Looks like CK is going to push this right side bridge from the attacker perspective. That tends to be the one, I think, in pubs that falls a lot, just because of how the defensive spawns tend to happen more on the other side. Occasionally you get one in the middle, but most people aren't aware of what's happening on this far bridge. But when you're getting this high-level competitive play, you know, I think those kind of, you have to think maybe 2 or 3 strats beyond just to make sure that you're going to be successful, because these players have seen it all at this point. So no one is going to be fooled. Occasionally you might get some brave soul who managed to do the water wheel technique, but we will see if either team needs to resort to that. So nice job. Looking like CK trying to find a hole, sort of shifting back and forth. They have managed to knock out most of the defense here on the right side. Nice walls by, who is that? Ratman, of course, immediately holding off the defenders. The defenders are able, though, to kind of get through. And I thought... I thought the defenders were going to... I'm sorry, I thought CK was going to be able to immediately plant that second one. Nice job by CK Stompin'. And now Recycled trying to get that second petard. Meanwhile, it seems as though CK was able to plant on that left side. So that's what I'm saying. The CK, known, in my opinion, you know, from watching a lot of these, for doing a lot of feints with the barrels, you know, a lot of change in direction. So it becomes very difficult, especially with 20v20, for the defense to just be paying attention to everything. So you can see now, whoever that was, I don't know, the carrier trying to position on the right side where the majority of the CK attack is. It's like Balls, Mahoney, Balrog, a few others trying to push that right side. You can see Banker, you know, if ever there was a need for the gatehouse captains, it's at this gatehouse, right? It's a gate, looks like a house. So these, this is the area, this kind of very small area of attack here, this kind of kill zone is really where you're going to see a lot of the technique of the individual players. Now, it does look like after enough time, you know, if there's not enough heals, I don't see a banner. So I think the defense over time has dwindled a little bit, leaving CK with the ability to kind of push. Nice pickup, though. It looked like there was going to be a second petard planted on the right side. Looks like we have about 4 in scoring position. Looks like CK... they're going to try to push just to keep Equilibrium honest, but you can see the majority of the push now on this left side. 1 petard has been planted on both. 1 petard carrier looking like he was going to peel off, but instead kind of delays his attack. Looks like he may... oh, nice try. I think that was Sheets trying to take a run. Fortunately, he takes a misstep, falls into the water. We're going to see now, though, it does look like there's an opportunity. Now Equilibrium has to decide how many people are they going to send to defend each side. It's not obvious right now, majority of fighting on that left side attacker perspective, but you can see only a couple of defenders on the right side. CK trying to jump on that, throwing their bodies into, oh my god, oh wow, nice job. So you can see, despite all of the blue names on the death kill count here on the right, it didn't matter because they were committed to the objective. Nice job taking control, taking advantage of the moment where EQ had to kind of decide what side they wanted to defend. Pressure on both sides really won the phase there. So nice job by CK. You're going to see now, we're going to immediately fall back to the prisoners, that left side. Evander, Vincent, and our VIP prisoner of the day today, ladies and gentlemen, is James. James owns a farm out in the suburbs of Fallmeyer and has been wrongly imprisoned. Let's face it, James is a good guy. So CK looking to save VIP James along with the other prisoners. At this point, we know that left side has been made quick work, so immediately CK attack now following on those center cages. Vincent looking like he's excited that he's going to be released. Now we're going to see here now on this last point here, James, the critical VIP. With 7 minutes, CK really doing well. You can see 2 prisoners left, Vincent and James. And right now, it looks like the Equilibrium defenders kind of patrolling this area between both prisoners. Looks like CK now might be gathering their forces here on the other side of this thatched house here. And here comes the push. Initially, a strong push on the left side. You can see GK, MJ Holy Armor, a few others. Sun God leading the charge, trying to get closer to Vincent. I didn't know if we were going to have a second push on the right, but it looks as if they're holding their right side attack here. UFO doing a good job. Olympia doing a good job keeping that side of the attack at bay. So it looked like perhaps CK wanting to push towards that middle prisoner first, but you can see the Equilibrium defenders do a good job breaking up that attack and taking another 30 or 40 seconds off the clock on this phase. But plenty of time with 6.5 left. We'll follow, see who is leading the charge here. Sauce Codes, a few others kind of guarding this house. It does look like that middle prisoner may have now been released. Yep, Vincent instantly struck down. Sorry, Vincent, but he is free, technically, I guess. So now down to James. Sheen doing a dance, keeping Vincent or James entertained. Sheets looking like he's going to test this right side. Rotates back as he sees he is outnumbered by the defense. The main fight here, interesting enough, seems to be this house, which is sort of a staging area. I think CK can kind of use this to gather, hide their numbers, and hide their direction. You can see that's where they launch an attack. Nice job by GK and, I don't know, Jambo maybe, to try to make a push, but I believe this cage still very strong. I don't know they've done any damage to it yet. So you can see here, this, you can't really stop on this roof. You can see all the Equilibrium defenders attacking from all sides. They're trying to quickly, looks like, take out attackers so they can pivot to whichever attacker is in the most dangerous position. We're going to see a play, 2-person play here by Jambo. Looked like it was going to be a nice play with Recycled playing Engineer. Equilibrium, though, ready for it and pick it up. It did look like they tried to pivot. So nice attempt to do kind of the Spear Trap boost. And, of course, the Engineer pick can devastate an objective like the Prisoner Cage, can take it out in less swings than your regular weapon. So not a bad attempt, but another couple minutes taken off the clock by Equilibrium. Looks like the main push now advancing a little bit past the staging area again. It does seem to be where CK continues to sort of gather, but the mistake they may be making, I don't know. I don't want to disrespect them because they're able to bring something out of this chaos sometimes. Is they seem to be trickling in a little bit across this main front, but that's what I'm saying. You might get someone like a Sheets able to kind of sneak through as the attack trickles in. What that does do is kind of spread out the defense a little bit, right? Because they don't keep their formation when the attackers aren't in formation. So that might be the only thing that CK can hope for if they don't get a solid attack. Like here, you can see Peon managing to step in with Daniel to take out Nildane, but I do think now that Cage has been damaged a little bit. So that's what I'm talking about. They're still going to have to stay diligent against the lone attacker who's able to do damage to the Cage.
People still play this. Made my day.
Bottom Burger Gaming, absolutely. So these are the two of the biggest clans in Chivalry 2, and they have been fighting more regularly to try to get more experience for some of their players. Tonight we're doing a middleweight bout, 20v20, between CK, although it might be 21v21. So, but yeah, I think there's still an active community, so I would suggest you feel encouraged to play if you're interested. So the more clans, the more players, the better. Anyway, though, good job here by EQ. Looks like another nice attempt by CK to get that spike trap on the backside, although Equilibrium... it does. I was going to say they do have people committed, but it seems as though there's a strong push by CK. GK, I think, and if you know who's that, stomping, doing lots of damage. Nice job by Banker, Peon, and a few others able to really defend that cage. I don't know how much damage was actually done to the cage. I think there were some hits, but wow, that was very close. I was going to say it looked like there were quite a few defenders protecting that backside just as I rotated back over. A really strong push. Does look like we have a siege crossbowman, Larcer, of course, taking out those barriers. So CK making use of the siege crossbow. That was really, this was the true intent of this weapon, was to devastate defenses. So nice job by Sheen, and Peon looking like doing some here we go, though. Just as they were resetting the wall, looks like you have Stomp and a few others managed to get through. VIP James is released, instantly struck down. Thank you for your service, Peasant James. Where is he? We will support James's farm in the outskirts of Fallmeyer in the future. And that's what this is for James. James will be remembered. Well, he'll probably be forgotten, let's be honest. But here we are on to the bridge. Looks like CK immediately capitalizing on their push. They're going immediately to the second half of the bridge. I think Equilibrium may have done the suicide tactic where you hit F10, but I really feel like it doesn't work. I feel like this is what it does. It doesn't spawn you in time. It's going to require Equilibrium. This is a do-or-die fight for this objective. If they can't push CK off with this respawn, they basically sacrifice this objective immediately. So nice push by Equilibrium. It does look like they may have barely, you can see the flag going back to red and black. So that was a key moment for EQ. They needed to do that to take any time off the clock for this objective. So we're going to see, though, a lot of progress made to the bar. CK looking like they're going to group up. Equilibrium still a bit on their heels. They are usually, we see them try to push the front to this choke point between the kind of gallows or whatever and the water wheel. But you can see Equilibrium deciding to just draw a line in the sand here right at the objective. You see some barriers. You can see the spike trap providing a little bit of elevation for that fire trap. John Wick, the score is 2-0 EQ. This is round 3. It was Gallencourt for maps 1 and 2. We are doing Fallmeyer for maps 3 and 4. Welcome in John Wick, celebrity in the Chivalry 2 community, and a fantastic player. So, wow. So, after that initial push that really had EQ on their heels, you can see they have now managed to really reestablish control of that second half of the bridge, that second objective point. Walls and spike traps are impressive. The real key here, though, is what they're doing. You want to fight in front of the walls. You don't want to get to the point where the walls are just a minor inconvenience. You want them to kind of buy a little bit of space and control so you can fight up here without feeling like you're instantly giving up the objective if you have to fall back. So this is more in line with what we like to see, or what we think Equilibrium likes to do from what we've seen. But I think they might have been a bit overcommitted there. You know, you do have to sort of rotate back. In some cases, it's more important to stay alive. And I think that that counterattack by EQ may have tried to stay out there a little bit too long. So now, as the forces, reinforcements come together, you can see CK able to move the front line back now beyond the walls, taking out some of these barriers, and now choosing to have the fight here on the objective. So that, I think, is the danger on that counterattack. If you push too far, it just takes too long for the respawn. You can see they are now coming out of this back keep here. So CK doing the smart job. They are now pushing ahead of the objective, trying to slow the advance of the reinforcements. I think they're going to be successful. Nice try by, looks like UFO and a few others to get in there, but at this point, very nice push by CK, very well timed to take advantage of that EQ counterattack kind of running out of steam there at the choke point. So very, very nice job. On to the gates. This is, of course, typically not, this is kind of a gimme objective, a throwaway, in that it's virtually impossible, I think, for the defense to hold both gates. There is, of course, a lever on the inside of the door here that if the offense manages to pull it, the door's instantly open, right? So right now, though, looks like CK is just going to do a more traditional approach, splitting their force maybe between the front and the back, but you can see the majority of their attack. You have Shark, GK, Nildane, a few others, Ratman, taking out that door. UFO and Surikathy are waiting to meet the attack here. It looks like they managed to slow him down. There's Banker with the spear charge, Typer and a few other Sauce Codes, Nerd Virgin, moving to meet the primary CK attack. You can see the walls start to go up. But again, CK very good at doing kind of multi-directional attacks. You know, the main attack coming on that right side, but you can see there's a sizable group. Looks like about 5 or 6 attackers that have kind of tested, you know, from their perspective, this left side. I think the risk is what just happened, though. These respawns from the defense alternate between the left and right. So if you push at the right time, at the wrong time rather, you're going to push right into one of the reinforcements. So this left side push, more maybe a probe, if anything, not really getting very close to the cranks. So as the left side kind of falls back and regroups, you can see CK once again kind of rallying on this right side around the banner. Looks like they're going to see if they can't get any picks of any of these defenders. Maybe do a little damage to these barriers to try and get some of this space back that the barriers are kind of denying them. Nice throw by Nerd Virgin. Just like, he'll throw anything he gets his hands on, and his accuracy makes all of them deadly. Nice job by Stompin' getting in there pull the crank, the initial crank, but Equilibrium defenders are immediately there and take advantage of their numbers to reestablish control. EFO with the one-handed spear and medium shield, looking like he's leading defense on the left side here. Several Equilibrium defenders falling back to fight inside the walls. That is what the barriers do here. It gives an avenue for the defenders to rotate to the cranks. Now, it does look like CK has pushed around the walls on the left side. They have managed to turn the crank to get the cage open to just about 60%, but nice counter push by the respawn of Equilibrium, and the cranks are now back in control. We're going to follow Shape-Shifting Cow, running one of my favorite classes, the Guardian, and the one-handed axe. That's may not be the longest weapon. In fact, it's one of the shortest, but that thing can really slap. So I like to see Guardians rocking my one-handed axe. So it looks like he's on patrol here, looking to kind of defend any CK that tries to push into the cranks. Gonna rotate over to Typer, who's doing the same thing here. Back to Cow. Nerd Virgin now looks like he is sort of trying to test the front of CK. Nice rotate back. That's really what you want to do when you get too much attention from the attackers. Rotate back and find another spot to flank. So Four Eyes, one of the better flankers that I've ever played with from watching him. Very smart player. So nice job. Really good job. Again, does it again, rotates back. That is what you want to see in your defenders. You can't lose lives in a wasteful fashion when you're playing defense. However, CK does look like they are making enough headway on this left and center side. These walls pretty much denying the right side, but I don't know if there's enough coverage here on the other two objectives. So far, though, EQ seems to be confident in their ability to counter punch and counter crank, as it were. A lot of pro crankers on Equilibrium. So all that cranking is going to come in handy here. Okay. Now, CK pushing this left side. This can work. I don't know where the Equilibrium respawn is going to be. So far, though, I don't know that enough of the attackers have made it. Does look like... Oh, wow. So here comes the right side respawn. So, yeah. I think that left side push, unable to thin out enough of the defense. Now you can see CK pushing right up the middle, but Equilibrium just had a pretty solid respawn from the right side. Nice job. Nice trap there to keep that CK attacker from cranking the crank. But now he has recranked the crank. So Shark, it continues to crank. I think that fire pot allowed him to revive. I do think, though, Equilibrium has uncranked the cranks. Yeah, so with a minute left, CK really going to have to find a way to try to wipe at least half of this defense, I think, in order to buy enough space to control the crank. So looks like CK may realize this as well. Looks like they're doing a pretty strong push on the left side. I think Shark manages to turn the crank on the left side, but you can see that it is immediately defused by Sir Rickethy, who is not falling for whoever that CK guy was hiding, trying to remain inconspicuous by the crank. So nice job here by Equilibrium, keeping their numbers high enough
You always see one or two pushing to the crank, but their whole team could make a lane and get it if they didn't play for KD as much.
Yeah.
Most push hard only at the end when it's too late.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you see that in pubs. I think I don't think CK is worried too much about CK. I do think they've been trying to push. Sometimes you're able to get people through, like here you can see Balrog manages to sneak through, but when you get the respawn on the side of the crank, I mean, that's really what happens. So nice defense. I do think that, you know, it was a really strong push by CK up until this point. So the equilibrium defense bends but does not break. You can see that impressive kill count. Definitely, you know, lots of kills on the defense. CK really throwing themselves at the meat grinder. I think for the most part, though, I mean, they were really impressive and successful in what they were trying to do the first 1, 2, 3, 4 phases, right? So nice job by Equilibrium to get it together, but really solid attack up until that point by CK. So I believe we are on to the 4th and final round. The teams are going to once again switch sides. It's round 4. Try not to play random music this time. So we are going to see now here what kind of tactics CK employs on defense and what kind of tricks does EQ have up their sleeve. So should be a great round 4. Go get your drinks.
Why do I have a blue crown?
I don't know. Did you subscribe with Prime? That might be the Prime one. So on to round 4. CK again, as per usual. What we see oftentimes, there's no reason to try and waste forces protecting the first 2 carts. So you can see plenty of spike traps. I think those spike traps, you know, some of them might be. That's not
Welcome to
engineered,
Middleweight.
so.
Thank you for following. We will start watching and listening on all your electrical
You can see
issues
here,
also.
Equilibrium, though, immediately testing this left side. I think this tends to be an area where you can use this sort of elevation to sort of flank around. So similar to what we saw from CK, Equilibrium makes really short work. I think we were right about the same time, right? It was about 7 minutes and 50 something seconds. So we could go back and look at the tape, but you know, both teams making quick work of the first objective. Steppo leading the charge here with who is that? Tiny Rick and Nerd Virgin. We're going to follow the petard people. So instantly, you can see there is a petard push to the left side. Wow, CK automatically setting up those walls on the right side. Equilibrium trying something a little bit different, though. Looking like they're going to push on this left side. Now, you do see majority of CK now is rotating back to the right. So we're going to see if these defenders, they may have actually slowed the attack. Yeah, it looks like they slowed the attack enough that I don't think Equilibrium was able to take advantage. I think they almost looked surprised, I think, at how open it looked for a second there. So Equilibrium, though, immediately following up and taking advantage of that over-rotation. So literally, this seems like a mirror image of the first match, of the last map, where after a push left, you see some space carved out by Equilibrium on the right side. We're going to need someone to pick up. Who is that? Yep. So who is that? Pancake. So Pancake, smart play. It looked like he rotated over, was waiting to place that second petard as soon as the gate was free from the first explosion. So really nice job. You know, a lot of shock and awe here in the first two phases by EQ. So a really fast start, just like what we saw at a CK. Maybe a little bit faster, though, by EQ on phase 2. Wow, a very cheeky push by Equilibrium. Looked like you had 3 or 4 players that they were daring to dream that they could make it to the back right. So Alaric playing defense on UFO, trying to sneak around. UFO gonna have a tall order to avoid not only the projectiles but the defenders. Doing a good job staying alive, actually. Wow, I don't know how that man he's eventually struck down, but nice job by a UFO to kind of distract the defense for a while. We'll see if Equilibrium was even in position to take advantage of it. I think it might be a little too soon. However, already EQ now able to push to the middle. So, wow, who is that? Someone looked like Detest maybe had snuck back, or it was Rickety, one of the two, had snuck back, actually done damage. The VIP prisoner today is Philip. So Philip looks like he might get freed. Peon coming through with the pickaxe. Does damage. Wow. Pro play by Peon. Philip and Peon together in eternity as God intended. So Philip also instantly struck down as soon as he's freed, but at least he was freed. Yep, rip Phil. But what a play by Peon to get in there. Manages to get on top of the cage, drops down, does enough damage, and then buys enough attention for the rest of the EQ. I don't know who that was with the Highlander sword, but really devastating Philip's cage and moving them onto the bridge. Now, it looks like despite being looking like sort of a runaway train at this point,
see a shark drag.
We're going to see here if CK can kind of mount the defense here. It looks as though they managed to establish control of the choke point on the bridge, at least temporarily. But now, here we go. Equilibrium now is advanced to that choke point. We're following Nerd Virgin here as we follow him. So good job again. I'm very impressed with his ability to stay alive. Drops a horn for the homies. Let's see here. Sheen following up. Sauce Codes doing some distraction duties under the bridge. Typer now following up the main attack here in the front line. Looks like they have reached now the initial barriers, and Equilibrium has pushed to the who's on Ballista? I don't know. Let's see here. Right now, I don't know how. Okay, go figure it out here. I mean, they might be farming, but honestly, are they helping their team take the objective? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's on the Ballista, actually. So here we go. Back to the fight, though. I'm actually impressed with CK. You know, they've managed to retain this side pretty well here. So EQ has pushed the front past the choke point, but has not yet been able to push it in to the objective. Nice rotation here. Very strong defense on the center. You can see GK with the one-hand spear, 17.
No one farms in comp except
rocking the two-handed. Omek pushing on the left side here. So all these level 1000 chads really, you know, just doing their best to kind of control their area here.
I think you have me mistaken with the crops.
At this level, You know, you're gonna see, you know, the people, you know, maybe like, again, we're following Nerd Virgin. This dude, I think part of why he's like so high on the scoreboard, right, is look at his 3 deaths. Like, he's very good at staying alive, right? So if you look at the actual scores, there's not a lot of difference, really. You know, I guess the curse of the commentator, he finally goes down for his 4th death. But I think that's the ability to rotate out, stay alive for your team is sometimes just as, if not more important than your ability to kill, right? So CK, though, this is actually pretty good. Equilibrium may have to do a posture check here, because CK really now finally establishing control. You know, the advantage of these 20v20 fights, you know, is that, you know, people have to cover a lot of area, but when you're on a part like the bridge here, where it's a pretty narrow, you know, obviously not as narrow as the previous bridges, but you're going to see a lot of talent take over when all of these people are fighting in a group. You know, there's different skills. There's obviously skills, the mechanics of attacking, but there's definitely a mechanic when it comes to how do you fight as your teammate. You know, you can interrupt your teammate if you do too many horizontal slashes, you know, and you'll be hitting each other here. So just as I say that, you can see EQ able to kind of fight in that close combat area a little bit more effective, because once the front line falls, that's when you're able to take advantage of space right here. So the fact that they were able to fight just on the other side of the objective meant that as soon as they won that team fight, that's what was going to happen. So nice job by EQ having patience. They weren't too concerned. Perhaps the posture check was not needed. You know, it was all part of the master plan. I don't know, but we're on to the gates here. So it looks like CK looking like they're very committed to the left side here right now. The majority, though, well, we have about 4 or 5 people on the front for Equilibrium, and they are doing the lion's share of damage to the gates. Nice fight there. I think it was by probably Nildane trying to slow the attackers. But now see, you know, where are the EQ attackers? Looks like a lot of them have rotated up top here. So you can see here's a spear trap. That is the play. Who did that? Sauce Codes doing the engineer trick. You don't even have to be an engineer. The spike trap trick. So nice job by Sauce Codes taking advantage, running on the gallows, jumping down. That is a high skill play. That is not as easy as it looks. You have to really know where to put the spike trap, and you have to know how to jump at you know, at top speed, right? So yeah, that is a that's, you know, from deep in the vault, right? This is top competitive play here. Look at this. Look at this. The triple dipple gallows run. Unprecedented to have that many people. I'm not sure what that fire pot was. I think Sauce Code's trying to buy himself some space. So Peon and whoever dropped down. Sauce Codes once again trying to drop down. That is how you really do it. You jump off the gallows and land directly on this to avoid falling over, right? So what a fantastic play. I mean, these are tactics these are deep cut tactics, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. These are old school. I think, did Cookie Monster, do we want to give credit to Equilibrium Cookie Monster for coming up with this? Because I don't want to misquote whoever came up with that genius. But I think at this point the engineering guilds has shared enough tactics. Now, even though I was impressed with that and got sidetracked, I should be extra impressed by CK picking up that attack. It looked like Equilibrium had established strong control of that center and right crank, but CK managing to decrank the crank and now get numbers back on the objective. You can see Detro and probably who's that, Steppo or Banker. They do look very similar. Kind of pushing that right side, but being forced to kind of fall back and regroup here. Now testing that left side. Nice job by Detro. I can't even talk. By Detro to kind of help on that left side. You know, it looked like for a second the left side was open, but again, the respawn was on the left side, so we should see a right side respawn. There it is by CK. So, you know, one of the difficult things is, you know, can teams predict which side the respawn? Can they keep track of, rather, not predict, since it alternates, and then time their push so it isn't ended prematurely by the respawn. So here we go. Left side respawn. You know, no real danger yet by EQ on the point after that initial push on the right side. It looks like they might have abandoned that for now. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pulled out as we get closer to the end of the phase here. But this is a good chance here for CK to try to salvage one of these games. You know, I think these teams battle frequently and have exchanged victories, right? So I don't know anyone's really counting score anymore, but you know, anything can really happen. But I do think Equilibrium has been playing in the last couple of matches at a really high level and have really integrated their new members with their old members to kind of achieve some of that top efficiency that we're expecting to see from a group like Equilibrium. So both teams very impressive with very impressive players, but recently, EQ has just been playing a little bit better on these objectives. Now, CK, with 2 minutes 45 seconds left, really in control here of this objective. Nice kind of broad set of defenders. You see Larcer here working with a couple other folks to sort of stop that attack from their right side, the attacker left side. UFO trying to make a little bit of progress, pulling out some advanced drags, but again, the CK members fighting well as a group, and he is struck down. Balrog has really been, I don't know if that's a great sword or the Highland sword, but he's been a menace, but falls now to the attack. But even as we see some of these CK members fall, we're not really seeing the EQ frontline push much past this area. So CK doing a good job. You can see all of the blood where a majority of the action's happening is really right by this flogging post. So CK really flogging EQ on defense so far this round. Now, we do see a push here. All it's going to take, we have some penetration on the right side. Which side is the respawn? If it's a left side respawn, it is a left side respawn. This might be trouble for CK. Now, if they can survive, this next respawn should be on the right side. CEQ, out here it comes. Are they going to be able to uncrank the crank in time? It does look like they stop. EQ needs to pivot over and crank the other side. But that respawn just in time. A left side respawn incoming here. So even though it looks like EQ might have momentarily cranked that crank, now that was a nice respawn. You really have to be able to survive one of those respawns if you want to hold it. So even though that's the second time EQ has managed to make progress, significant progress on the crank, I think what we've seen each time is those respawns coming in and sort of wipe the progress off of the map just with sheer numbers. So last-ditch effort. You can see all of EQ finally pushing forward. They managed to crank the left side. Can they crank the center? This is going to be close with 20 seconds. It does look like the left and center crank have been pulled. Can they defend that center crank? 13 seconds left. 10 seconds left. 11 seconds left. The right side. It's going to be extremely close as time runs out. 5 seconds left. The bar is filled with... No! It's not filled! What? What happened? What happened? I don't know. Did CK
Yeah.
Did CK actually
LOL.
Oops, did they manage to decrank the cranks? What just happened? I could have sworn. I mean, we all saw that, right? That blue bar was full for, I don't know, 4 seconds. Do we need to go to the videotape? I need a video producer. I don't know how to rewind. We're gonna
Why was it
end
full for 4 seconds and
the
doing nothing?
stream there.
Tail of the tape.
I'm going to immediately... All right, this is what I'm going to do. Normally, I don't make the VOD available until I upload it on YouTube. But that is so... I want people to go back and watch it. So I'm going to end the stream now.
You have it shot.
Thank you for joining. I'm going to immediately make the VOD available so if people want to take a look. And then I'll update it to YouTube. But thank you, everyone, for joining another episode. What a great fight. Final score, Equilibrium 3 and CK 1. We should go back and look. I don't even know. That might have been the most clutch decranking in Chivalry history, or it was normal Shiv timer shenanigans. Either way, fantastic matches. Thank you for joining me on this special Thursday night edition of Friday Night Fights. I don't know when we'll be back. I'm going to have to figure it out. We'll be back in the future, but stay tuned, and I appreciate all of the support. Until next time, thank you for joining us on Friday Night Fights.
Peace. Thai first stream. Thai Velvet. GGS. Thai.
Marches fierce through the shadowed plain.